Welcome, dear viewer. As a lot of you know, today we're going to talk about fighting games. And just so you're not left in suspense, let me give you a quick summary of where I stand on this subject. Fighting games most certainly do not suck. They're great if you don't have a lot of time or need a quick gaming fix, and they're simple enough that they can be picked up by the hardcore enthusiast or your beginner, i.e. your casual gamer alike. So, where do you put someone like Artie, who dismisses an entire genre as terrible? Well, given this evidence, he isn't a gamer. In fact, he has no credibility when talking about fighting games because... Bing!
Generally, I don't like multiplayer games because it's a pretty random experience. There's no telling whether or not you're going to have fun during a multiplayer game, since it's relying on 15 other people. So I try to stray away from it, and I don't usually play multiplayer games all that often, if ever.
He doesn't play multiplayer games. So having established this, let's take a look at the rest of his video. Surely this dabbler has some sort of insight on the subject. Doesn't he?
It's been 25 years since the first release of the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the video game industry has evolved quite a bit.
What an odd thing to say when you're going to talk about fighting games. Yeah, bring up the NES, which wasn't known for either its fighting games or being the first home console. What was the point?
We've seen consoles come and go, companies decide to no longer pursue the hardware side of business, and we've also seen genres evolve and disappear.
Good friends we have, good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, which is life, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say.
Genres like the platformers, top-down adventures, arcade-style games, and scrolling shooters have all either beefed up to compete with modern gaming or just disappeared in history.
Alright, let's look at the four genres Artie's talking about here.
Genres like the platformers, top-down adventures, arcade-style games, and scrolling shooters.
Well, 1 out of 4 isn't too bad, I guess. Top-down adventures? No, that's really a subcategory of the action-adventure genre. Many games share top-down view. It's not like top-down view is exclusive only to adventure games. Same with scrolling shooters, which are really more commonly known as shoot-'em-ups. And perhaps the most comical error here is arcade-style games. Game genres are organized by gameplay style and not medium. For example, you wouldn't say PlayStation is a genre. It'd be stupid to say N64 games are a genre. Nevertheless, it didn't stop one of my survey's participants from saying SNES was a genre, so Artie, you're in a minority there. A stupid minority. Either way, arcade-style games would be adaptations of games that would fall into any of the other established genres, not a genre of their own. This is why you lost so miserably on Family Feud, Artie. Let me repeat the question, Artie. You've been having trouble answering, so I'm going to ask again. We asked 100 gamers this question. We're looking for you to give us the top 4 answers in our survey. Name a video game genre. Come on, Artie, you can do this.
Arcade-style games.
Oh my god. Show me arcade-style games.
We're looking for it.
Artie, you were not able to guess a single one. But here are the answers, so you can ponder them over your weekend of compulsive GTA San Andreas you have planned ahead. Number 1 answer was RPGs. Number 2 was strategy games. Number 3 was fighting games. And number 4 was FPS. I'm sorry, Artie. We'd give you a copy of our home game, but we're out of them. And to be frank, it wouldn't do you any good. We do, however, have a bag full of Mega Bloks for you to take home with you. Thanks for playing. Oh my goodness, I got sidetracked there. Well, back to Artie.
Unfortunately, the one genre that's decided to stay put is the fighting genre. These games had a place in their time a decade ago, but today they just can't compete with other great games being released.
Really? Can't compete? I guess that's why Street Fighter 4 sold so well at over 2 million copies.
And since there's not much room for improvement of the fighting genre, it's time it just disappeared. Because even if you like fighting games, they don't like you.
Oh, but my copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it loves me. And I love it back. In fact, every time it gives me a happy ending. Ho! 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 Ho!
Continue to suck your money and your life away from you.
Yeah. For fighting games, it takes me about 10 minutes to maybe an hour if I feel like putting some time into it, and it costs me anywhere from 10 to 40 bucks tops per game. How much time and money do you suppose goes into this on average, kiddo?
Oh, dude, 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt. Level 18?
So what exactly sparked my hatred for these games, you ask? Street Fighter 4.
So he's basing his entire hatred of a genre on the hype brought on by Street Fighter 4. That's not even rational. That's like saying you hate any and all chicken products because fuck KFC.
Having never played a fighting game for more than a few minutes, I decided to adventure into the genre and see how it all works.
So once again, keep in mind these are opinions of someone who never sat down to actually play these games, by his own admission. He then decides to review specific games in order: Tekken 5, Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive 4, and Street Fighter 2, not talk about fighting games in general. Well, here's the highlights and see if you think this guy knows his stuff.
Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, and I've never been more insulted in my life. I can't even describe to you how utterly bewildered I was when I realized I paid for 3 modes and a bunch of characters.
3 modes? Arcade Story, Time vs. Battle, Team Survival Practice, and with the PSP Gold Rush Theater, and with the PS3 Devil Within. Yeah, you better make sure you got the whole thing, buddy. Sounds to me like you got a demo copy. And 35 characters plus 1 extra unlockable for PS3 fans wasn't enough for you?
When you get to the character selection screen, there's enough fighters to serve in a battalion.
In military terms, no. For a battalion, you'd need at least 300.
And it's not like you can tell who sucks easily. You have to try out every single one, individually. I guess they all work the same, but what would be the point of switching your character then? That doesn't make any sense to me. How does anyone figure out that the panda is actually their favorite character?
By playing as the character that catches their eye and learning to master that character? And wait, now you're complaining about there being too much variety? You just complained about how it was bare bones somehow. You know, most fighter players agree that more fighters tends to be a good thing. Too few and then it would be bare bones indeed. Make up your mind, Artie!
Unfortunately, since this is obviously an old game, none of the characters look cool, and I don't know who half these people are.
Well, since you haven't played it, you won't know the characters. Stands to reason, doesn't it? They look like any fighting game characters. What's so not cool about them? Oh, right, it wasn't made in the year 2008 or sooner. You don't like it.
Well, let's just go with Scorpion, since I actually know who that is.
Wait, if you know Scorpion, then surely you must have seen one of the Mortal Kombat movies or the TV series or read the comics. I mean, how could you know Scorpion and not know, say, Sub-Zero or Liu Kang or Johnny Cage? Sounds like you're just taking the piss now, buddy.
So let's take a look at these controls. But wait, all you get is the most useless fucking control scheme layout ever. Diagrams pointing to buttons? What the fuck? There's no command list, so I guess it's just like Super Smash Bros. Where you sort of wing it and see what happens. Fight. What the fuck? How do you do that?
There's so much wrong in that 18 seconds of clip, I don't know where to begin. You complain about being shown what buttons do what, and then go on to complain about how you have to figure out things by trial and error. Again, make up your mind on something to complain about. You contradict yourself too much. You also fail to realize that pushing up against an opponent and pressing a button usually results in some sort of grapple. That's a 2D fighting game staple. Artie, those Mega Blocks are calling for you. Answer the call.
But this game plays just like Tekken. If anything, it's even easier. You only have to press 2 buttons and then mash from the D-pad in random directions.
And you just proved that it decidedly doesn't play like Tekken. Mega Blocks, Artie.
I know this version of the game wasn't well received by critics, but it can't be that bad. Oh, but wait, the trial only lets you play as Ryo or Guile, and they don't even let you face other opponents. If you pick Ryo, you face Guile. If you pick Guile, you face another Guile. What a stupid game.
Yeah, I'm sure the demo was critically acclaimed. You're playing the demo. Perhaps if you got yourself an emulator, you could enjoy the full game? Or if you're not the cheap bastard we know you to be.
So, whatever. You know, I'm so loaded I can afford $3.
You could get yourself a full copy and voila! Gripe gone. See how easy? Well, as usual, there was lots more, but YouTube's time constraints suck. Needless to say, Artie knows absolutely zippo about fighting games. Grab yourself a fighting game today, folks, and have fun beating up on someone. Online, offline, it doesn't matter. If you're in a hurry and you want something to play before your busy day begins, or you just want to hang out with friends and beat the shit out of each other and have a blast together, there's nothing like the quickie fun of a fighting game. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Fighting games kick ass.
Fighting games kick ass!
Fighting games are awesome because you get to beat the shit out of other people. It's that simple.
Fighting games kick ass!
Fighting games kick ass.
Fighting games are the best.
Fighting games are awesome.